Josh Allen. You got Colorado SC, but it ain't the only big matchup of the weekend. There is a phenomenal NFL game. Tuatagovailoa and the Miami Dolphins, they're 3-0 right now. They put up 70 points. My goodness. But meanwhile, Josh Allen and the Bills, since week 1, they have been rolling, and I mean absolutely rolling. Bring us on camera. Bring us on camera, Cole. Bring us on camera. Let me talk to the beautiful people at home. Joy, Tua is very good when he's healthy. But we keep saying when he's healthy. He's healthy right now.
Right.
So he's just very good. Can he take the crown from Josh Allen this weekend? Huge matchup, Dolphins-Bills.
Hell yeah.
Ooh.
Where my Dolphins fan at?
There we go.
There we go. We were far away from Miami.
Man, she shot you. You gotta let her know you hit.
No, people are already starting to doubt the Bills. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Remember, at the beginning of the season, I said I'm not going to jump off the Bills bandwagon as far as them being a competitive team that I expect to go far in the playoffs. They have won the division the past 3 years, and they've taken advantage of a very rocky AFC East. But the way that Tua and the Dolphins have been playing and the dominant fashion that they won last week, if you come in and take down the champ of the AFC East, which, by the way, they haven't really done. Tua's 1-4 against Buffalo so far in his career. This will be a very convincing win.
Hey, my man. What's your name? Shady. Nice to meet you, Joseph. Don't hide.
Don't hide. You know what I'm saying?
Don't hide, 'cause it's Buffalo.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, you're supposed to start clapping off a boat.
We had a long road. You know, I understand being a little hesitant about it. We don't want to jump right into being cocky. But I think Shady's right. Like, you have to give credit where it's due. What do? We update our information.
Yes, we do.
And if they win this game, we have to update our information. Now, that doesn't mean that they've won the division. We have a lot of football left to play.
That's true.
But this is a big statement. I think I said 2-4. He's 1-4 against the Bills. Tua is. So this will start building that rivalry as well. You are right about Buffalo. They're going to take it. Buffalo takes it personal. Buffalo takes something about Buffalo.
Yeah.
They take it personal because they do take it personal there, especially when they're going to listen to this conversation. Oh, Tua can come in and take the crown from Josh Allen and the Bills. It's just that easy. All of that stuff is already getting drummed up there. I know it, but the Dolphins are that good this year.
Dolphins are nice. And one thing about playing with Josh Allen, I know him so well. He hears this.
Yeah.
Us, the whispers. Damn, Tua's doing good. He looks good. He sees on ESPN. And he see on Fox what he's balling. No. Josh Allen's a competitor. And I guarantee you this. When he comes in that game Sunday, he's going to ball out. And it's going to be personal.
Yeah.
Right? When the defense is out there, he'll be watching.
I think that the result is going to be we're going to be talking about this Dolphins offense some more. And they get Jalen Waddle back. And Ian's report is illuminating because last week they didn't even have him and they scored 70 points and they're running circles right now. Now, if they did it against a Broncos defense that seemed to have no answers last week, the complete opposite would be a Buffalo Bills defense that basically shut out the Commanders last week and shut out the Raiders except for one touchdown the week before. And it's playing in their building and has a lot of pride. I cannot wait for this game. I think it's the rare 1 o'clock game on the schedule that is the premier matchup of the week. And I just don't know if there's a better X's and O's matchup than Sean McDermott and this Bills defense than Mike McDaniel and this Dolphins offense. If I'm picking one right now, and Buffalo don't come at me, I'm picking the Dolphins. I'm taking the Dolphins in this one, and I think it's a high-scoring game, and I just think it's a track meet. We're in September. It's supposed to be 70 degrees out. Like, the elements are not going to play a role.
So great.
I love what they've done the last 2 games. The Bills defense, they've corrected things, and I know McDermott's the guy, no longer Leslie Frazier, and that there's a lot of pride in this. I just feel like the Miami Dolphins are having a moment right now, and they're in their bag. And I'm not sure there's any defense in the league that's stopping them until injuries finally catch up with the squad.
Yeah. Like, is this team going to get them to a Super Bowl with this defense? We're going to learn a lot. I'm actually feeling the other way. I feel like the 70 points, the sensation, there's so much heat. I actually feel like the rug's going to come out a little bit. I just know how this AFC works. Like, the teams that are riding so high, and Buffalo's been that team before. You turn them on one week, and it's like, oh, they just came back down to earth. I think Buffalo's ready for them. I will say, if Miami wins, I'm not sitting here making it, if Miami wins and they win in Buffalo and they're 4-0, then they're in that. I don't know what the case is that there's a better team than them in football. We can talk the Niners all we want, maybe the Eagles, but they seem like they're emerging. I'm talking about the Dolphins on the way up. This is the #1 story in the NFL if they win this game. I think this is the premier game also of the first half of the season at least. Buffalo's defense is going to decide this thing. It's those safeties. I love them. I talked about them already, but you can't compete against this team without great safeties. And Poyer and Hyde are great safeties. They're the most. If I had to pick two players, it's not Diggs, Allen, anybody. It's no one on the D line. It's no one. It's Poyer and Hyde. It's Poyer and Hyde.
You can see our analytics like the Dolphins by just the slimmest of margins. That's not even half a point. The line that we have out of Vegas is 2.5. Buffalo minus 2.5, which is basically home field. So everyone is looking at this as a completely dead even game. The reason I'm picking, and Cindy, you can put the picks on the screen. I'm going Buffalo for the simplest reason that if the Dolphins don't lose at Buffalo, where are their losses going? They're not going to go 17-0. This is a monster game between the two teams that we think will battle it out for this division.
It is, and Miami hasn't seen the defense this good yet this year. And you know, Sean McDermott, they played each other 3 times last year.
Right.
He knows what Miami wants to do, and he's going to be prepared for it. Look, it's a great game. Hembo sent me something. They were separated by 4 total points last year in their 3 games. Like it is tough, and I think it's
the Bills are favored by a field goal. Let's take a look at the odds to win the AFC. My Chiefs still in the driver's seat.
Get out of here.
Followed by Buffalo, then Miami, who scored 70 points. Then the Ravens and Cincinnati were below 500. So, do the Bills deserve, Nick, we'll go to you, to be ahead of the Dolphins?
I'm glad you're going to me, as I'm the only person on this set that believed in the Dolphins before the year. Picked them to win the division. I don't think anyone else here had them in the playoffs. You did? The Miami Dolphins?
I mean, once Aaron Rodgers
went down, exactly. Before the season,
do I have to pull out the bylaw?
Okay, as I
Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
As I said,
I'm
the only person who believed in Miami and believed in them to win the division. And once again, this is the media propping up Buffalo. It just is. I mean, the media, Vegas, whoever you want to say, it's just, again, Buffalo has looked excellent the last 2 weeks. That's undeniable. But the idea that they should be considered a more viable Super Bowl threat than Miami is ludicrous. Now, by the way, the biggest questions we have about Miami is quarterback health. The biggest question we have about Buffalo is the quarterback going to give a game away? Is the Miami, there's real questions. How are they going to look when the weather gets bad in playoff football? With Buffalo, there are questions of how are they going to look when the weather gets bad and it's playoff football.
It's Buffalo weather.
Yeah, when it's Buffalo weather. Like Miami wants home field. I think Buffalo maybe doesn't want home field. Maybe both these teams want Miami to have home field. They're like better off in the sunshine. So no, the Bills could win this weekend because they're at home, and obviously Miami's going to be come down pretty hard from a 70-point game. But no, Miami to me was the better looking team before the year. Since then they've scored 70 points. I'm going to say they're still the better looking team.
I would agree. Look, they just hung 70 on a Sean Payton team, so they should probably be ahead. And you're right, Nick. I mean, the Bills' odds have always been high, surprisingly high. But I will say this: there's a little. I think the reason is, you said, the Bills have looked great the last 2 weeks. And there's more balance to their offense. Like, they're rushing the ball now, and it's not Josh Allen doing the main rushing, it's James Cook.
You're not saying more balance than Miami. You're saying more balance
more
than
balance
Buffalo
than they've
previously.
been. It's not like it's all Josh Allen all the time. And defensively, Coach, the Dolphins are giving up basically 24 points a game. The Bills are giving up 12. So I just think that those are reasons you could look and say, I think I like the Bills.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Nick only counts offense, so defense doesn't come into play.
You like Vic Fangio. Oh, you're going to sit here and denigrate Vic Fangio.
No, there's no,
here we go.
No denigration. It just is what reality is. And when you look at it right now, the Dolphins are #1 in points, #1 in yards, and the Bills are #2 in points and #7 in yards. But if we can pull up the graphic, let's pull up and look at the difference defensively. Okay, the Bills first in takeaways, the Bills second in points per game, second in yards per game, second in sacks, and look at the difference defensively for where Miami is. So I know we're only going to look at 70 points against
Sam Howell giving you the ball.
Well, I'm just saying.
3-0 Miami Dolphins in September, no more. October 1st, the Dolphins face Bill Mafia in Buffalo. It's going to be a tough game. The Dolphins played them hard last week. They won at Miami. That game where they could blame it on the heat and the humidity, but the Dolphins played hard and won the game. The second game was a Saturday night game, and the Dolphins hanging there. They had some leads. When the snowstorm came, things happened, and the Dolphins lost a close one. And a depleted Dolphins team went to Buffalo in the playoffs, and as you see, I'm not saying that if that made a stop, they would have won the game. They were still trailing, but they just proved that they played them tough. So, Steve, I go to you. What are your thoughts on this game against Bills Mafia and Buffalo?
One of those things that I just kind of block out, and I shouldn't because I'm a Dolphins fan, but the frustration, but the positive in something like that is we had a team that we know that every game that Tua was out last year, we really lost a huge part of our team.
Mm-hmm.
But knowing that Coach McDaniel, with the defensive coordinator at the time, a very depleted defensive backfield, that we brought Skylar Thompson into a wild card game in Buffalo in the cold weather, and we lost by 3. I'm not one for moral victories, but I think that the members of the Dolphins that are still on the team that were there in that game carry that with them, and they know what they're capable of. I don't think that, they're professionals. They don't need confidence boosts or anything like that, or at least most of them don't. But I think that they remember that. They know what they're capable of. The first 3 games of the season here, preparing them for more. I'll save my prediction, but I think that this is a clash of 2 Titanic teams coming off of very impressive games for 2 different reasons. The Dolphins with their offense, the Bills coming off of a 35-3 victory against the Washington Commanders, 9 sacks, 5 turnovers. It's going to be a test. I think it really is.
Yeah, indeed. How about you, Matt? What are your thoughts on the upcoming game against Bills Mafia and Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, I hate Buffalo. I'd kick them out of the league. Send them to Toronto. I would like them if they moved the entire team to Toronto. Make them a part of.
Could have happened.
It almost happened,
Mm-hmm.
But in all seriousness, Buffalo's got a really good team, and I'll never ever shortchange them of that. I will give them grief because Bills Mafia, you guys are 0-4 in Super Bowls. Come talk to me when you have 1 in the win column. You act like Patriot fans should act, right? I've never met a Patriot fan that wasn't confident in his fandom because he had 6 to back themselves up.
Mm-hmm.
Bills and Jets fans are the most insecure and have no reason to be as bold and brazen as they are. I also am going to save my prediction for this game. By the way, I've been pretty good at predictions lately. Let's see if I can't come up with a good one before the end of the show.
Matt coming in with like an RKO against Bills Mafia. Just total
right on the table.
Off the top turnbuckle, through the table,
Out of nowhere.
RKO. All right. Eddie, what's up, man? What do you think?
I hate Buffalo week. I absolutely hate it. Just seeing their fans on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, it drives me nuts. And I remember when we used to beat them a lot, and that was fun. But now it's just such a nerve-wracking game because you want to beat them so bad. You want to talk trash back to them. But right now, until we can consistently beat that team, I just keep my mouth shut, let the team do the talking, and it's going to be a tough game because that's a hard place to play. And looking forward to it. I'm looking to see how Fangio does against Allen, what he comes up with, and also our offense against the Bills' defense, which has been better than I thought it would be this year.
Yeah, the Bills right now are ranked near the top on both offense and defense again. So Josh Allen is certainly a very, very good quarterback, if not a great quarterback. I'm not sure for how many years he's going to be able to do the things that he does when he runs so much. So it's amazing that he's not being injured even more. Though. But you saw Cam Newton. Cam Newton had so many great years, MVP candidate, but eventually, the body caught up to him. So Josh Allen, the window if you ask me, the window of the Buffalo Bills is closing. Hopefully, the Dolphins will accelerate that process and get a win this weekend, and we'll be on their way.
I definitely think it's closing. I think that in the vacuum of where we're just finishing week 3, we're entering week 4, they're not on the Chiefs level. Definitely not. And I think they're probably right neck and neck with the Dolphins. I think that for their own very distinct reasons, that they're very equal with each other. So I think it's going to be a very interesting game. And Matt, to your point, Bills Mafia, I will say this. I despise Bills Mafia. I grew up an hour south of Buffalo, going to school, middle school, high school, wearing my Zubaz pants, where really I only had 4 days to enjoy for, those years. And that was the Monday after the Super Bowl when I would strut down the hallway, pointing at people, laughing at them and everything. But I got to say, I despise Bills Mafia except for my mother, my stepfather, and my brother-in-law and his wife. I love them. They're Bills fans. But other than that, I'm right there with you. I can't stand them. Eddie, I agree with you. Until we can be the man against them with any level of consistency, I reserve my trash talk for that.
I agree. So next we're gonna do some toss up. We're gonna do some toss up with the topic. We're gonna continue the topic with the Bills. My question to you guys: who you think has more to prove? Is it Tua or Josh Allen? I'm gonna start with Matt. Matt, who you think has more to prove right now, Tua or Josh Allen?
This is a great toss-up subject. I think Tua has rightfully earned the opportunity to prove himself every single day. We see bits and pieces of it through the course of the week or through the course of the summer in training camp. He knows, and it seems like, as we talked about earlier, it seems like that he's taking those opportunities to say, what's next? Who's next? But I'm not going to sleep on Josh Allen either. Steve just said that he thinks the window is closing. I feel the same way. I feel like the Bills have been the pick for several years now, and they barely beat a really beat up Dolphins team in the playoffs, and barely beat them by 3 points. I think that Josh Allen is cognizant of the fact that his window might be closing with the team as it is currently built. So I'm going to say that Josh Allen has more to prove because he's trying to hang on to what he's had. It's Josh Allen for me.
How about you, Eddie? Who do you think is have most to prove? Is it Tua or Josh Allen?
It's a tough question. It's Tua until they take over the top spot. Although I do believe Josh Allen has a lot of pressure on him to stay on top, but I think Tua until he proves we're better than Buffalo.
How about you, Steve?
I was trying to cheat and check something out here because I'm just curious because I know it's been updated. It's one more than that, but it's Tua. It's Tua because Josh Allen for a few years now has been anointed the golden child. You've got Mahomes, he's in a class all by himself, but Josh Allen, how many more turnovers this last week? What's he at? 85 lifetime turnovers now, but he's on the cover of Madden. He's got a rocket for an arm. He's highly athletic. He's fast. Got great leadership. I hate him, but God, he's such a good guy off the football field with people. Hate to say that, but nothing sticks to him. He's at that level of hierarchy in NFL players and quarterbacks where really nothing that he does sticks with him. Every single thing that Tua does, it's under the microscope. One of the video montage things you showed to open was them commenting that Tua was able, maybe you didn't show it, I saw it in some previews, but they made it a point to say that he just needed to do a little shovel pass behind the line of scrimmage. 3 of his touchdown passes came from behind the line of scrimmage. I don't care where they came from. We've seen so much of him that he throws the ball downfield and ends up succeeding with that. We know that he has capability of doing that, but we just showed, we don't need to do that. We're going to do it on the ground by running. We're going to do it on the ground with little passes behind the line of scrimmage. But in terms of what's at the table right now to prove, sorry, Sherry, I see you're commenting here. I don't think it's Josh Allen. It's Tua, because he needs to go up there and prove that A, he can lead the team in Orchard Park. B, he can stay healthy. It's not all on him. It's on the offensive line. It's on the team. And C, he can walk out of there with a win.
Well, what's funny is that both of these quarterbacks and both of these teams came to the season with some questions. Tua has some questions he can hold up. If Matt Daniel could stay creative, if the offense hadn't grown stale, and the Bills before the season were supposedly on the cusp of imploding. They had Dick's problem. The Josh Allen could have started reversing, and I think at this moment both of those quarterbacks had answered the questions. This Sunday is going to be a huge statement on which of the two stay on course. Who has most to prove it's always going to be Tua, because no matter what Tua does, on the next Monday they're going to say that he didn't do enough. If the defense holds and we win defensively, it wasn't Tua. If we win by a lot, it was Matt Daniel. If we run the ball, it was the running game. So it's never gonna prove right to those who don't want to be proven wrong. So it's always going to be Tua. However, Josh Allen, as I said before, has some proving to do that he can stay himself healthy, because that's how the play eventually is bound to break down. So he's a great quarterback. The Bills deserve all the respect. They're division champions. They've proven it 3 years in a row. But it could be a huge statement. At the end of this toss-up segment, I'm gonna give my prediction. You're welcome to join if you want to, of the score for the game. So next, who's under more pressure? Is it McDaniel or McDermott? Well, there were rumblings before the that Sean McDermott could even lost his job if the Bills didn't get that far they're supposed to get. So far, he's weathered the storm. They have some problems in the locker room in the season, but he's doing a good job. They love the defensive coordinator. He's taking on the Rex defensive coordinator, and they're playing well. They deserve their praise. So I'm gonna go first to Eddie. Eddie, who do you think is under more pressure? Is it Mike McDaniel or McDermott?
McDermott. I believe this year's make or break for him. I think he's at least has to get back to that AFC championship, and if he loses here, there'll be 2 games, I believe, behind Miami.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, because of the win. Miami'd be in the win column. I don't think there's a lot of pressure on McDaniel this year. I think it's definitely McDermott.
What do you think, Steve?
I agree with Eddie. I think that McDaniel is still so young in his coaching career. I think the year-over-year hop that he did to answer the questions that I had, our premiere episode, I believe I talked about the questions that I had. Can he build on the flash of what he showed last year? And he's already shown through 3 games, absolutely. Sean McDermott, to Eddie's point, was already rumored to have a lot of questions. He lost Leslie Frazier as defensive coordinator in the offseason. There were lots of questions about that, leaving him to call the defense, which, again, coming off a phenomenal defensive performance, they may be able to duplicate it this week. They may not. I hope they don't. But 100% agree. He has to get back to the AFC championship game, and he has to prove that he can lead his team to where the Bills' expectations that their fans have for them and that the media has just poured all over them for the past few years. It's 100% on McDermott.
What do you think, Matt? Who do you think is under more pressure? Is it Daniel or McDermott?
It's absolutely McDermott. The guy's been almost to the promised land. He's been that far.
Mm-hmm.
He beat the Dolphins by 3 in the playoffs last year. That's not really convincing that you're the guy. That would make me as an owner think, how did you not smoke these guys? With the rumors, usually when there's rumors of some sort, smoke, there's fire. I think that he's under an immense amount of pressure, and it's compounded on Sunday around 4:15 if they're on the wrong side of the score.
I think.
I'm not.
I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that they would fire him, after that game, but you'll start hearing it more if that game doesn't go their way.
I don't think it's even close. I think Sean McDermott is under more pressure. The expectations, not only for this year, for the last couple of years, has been for the team to go to the Super Bowl. That stacks up. There's no way he's not under more pressure than Mike McDaniel. And he's even said before, I think it was Colin Cowherd, said that Mike McDaniel outcoached McDermott during all 3 games last season. When the Dolphins beat spoiler alert, when the Dolphins beat the Bills this Sunday, you can see that it's going to pile up. You're going to see some pundits starting to question. They're not going to rabble so much on the Dolphins win. They're going to go, in my opinion, they're going to concentrate on why the Bills lost the game, what's wrong with the Bills, what's wrong with Allen, what's wrong with McDermott. So that most definitely Sean McDermott is under more pressure. Any last thoughts?
Not on this, no.
Okay, next. Who has more to gain from a win this Sunday? I think that's an easy one, but I'm gonna start with Steve. Steve, what do you think? Who has the most to gain from the win on Sunday?
I'm a data guy. I'm a numbers guy. So I'd like to be short with it. I'm not short with anything. Let's break it qualitative, quantitative here.
Okay.
Quantitative, numbers-wise, most to gain from this is clearly the Bills. As they said, they can't afford to drop 2.5 games behind. This would be 4 straight AFC wins for the Dolphins, 4-0 in their conference.
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking huge leg up there in so many different metrics.
Mm-hmm.
Quantitatively there. Qualitatively, hands down, it's Miami. Miami has the most to gain from a win here to prove we've done it on the road 3 games, one of them in Buffalo, in the biggest, most hostile territory that we will face this year, in my opinion.
No doubt.
And coming back from, the first 4 games, which a lot of people were saying, are they going to end up 2-4, in the first 6 games of the year? How are they going to end up? Nobody knew except for Matt. Matt's called 20-0, so he figured that it was going to be, 4-0 at the end of this. But hands down, it's Miami with the most to gain from this, just simply for the fact that for them to do that in Buffalo, coming off of the games and the different types of performances. And also one last thing, again, we don't do this analysis. Other people do it for us. We just repeat it. We know we went 3-0 last year, went up on a Thursday night game to Cincinnati, and that started a 3-game slide. And I think it was like going back into the 90s, the last several times that we've started the year 3-0, I think we're like 8-28 or something like that for the remainder of those seasons.
So that's right.
Miami, if they do this, they get that monkey off their back, and it's going to, I think, carry a ton of momentum for the rest of the year to get a record that I didn't think that was possible for them this year.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, Steve just used the key word there, and it's momentum. At the beginning of the season, they were going up against the Chargers with the guy that most said the Dolphins should have taken over the guy that they have. Mm-hmm. Then they went to New England, which nothing more needs to be said. It's New England. And then they did what they did to Sean Payton on Sunday. There's quite a bit of kind of okay, this is kind of interesting because in each one of those instances, I can make the argument that they should not have won. With Herbert against the Patriots on the road, against Sean Payton. They pull this off on Sunday. The momentum is all theirs. 2.5 up on the division. All of their wins in the AFC, which, as Steve said, the metrics right now are completely unknowable, but it will matter November, December. How many times have we seen in the hunt? You know, they show all of the division leaders, they show the 3 wild card leaders, and then in the hunt at 6 and 7, the Miami Dolphins. Momentum is the key here, and they pull this off on Sunday. I think that that monkey is definitely off the back.
Eddie, what do you think has most to gain, the Dolphins or the Bills?
Miami. The win in Buffalo would be tremendous for them. It gets them over that Buffalo hump, and they come back 4-0 in the 4-0 in the conference, 4-0 record overall, and a 2-game lead in the division, depending on what happens with New England. I'm not sure their record. It doesn't matter.
Too.
Oh, okay. So a 2-game lead, no matter what, and it's Miami. I think they will really get on a roll if they come out of there with a win.
Well, if it were who has most to lose by losing this game, I will say Buffalo. But since we're going the other way around, who's got more to gain is the Dolphins. To go to Buffalo to win on the road, to take a lead, a 2-game lead on the division. Well, they only have played. They still had to play the Jets, but to have a 2-game lead on the division, to me, the Dolphins have more to gain. The momentum, the way, the statement. Of course, it all probably going to go down to that last game of the season. It's going to be probably on Sunday night against the Bills in Miami. But as of right now, the Dolphins win this game. They're going to be a huge statement. Going to prove that the agenda is working. That they're on their way. So for me, the Dolphins have most to gain on the win.
We agree.
So I'm gonna give my prediction. You don't have to give one if you don't want to, but I'm gonna give my prediction. I'm gonna say the Dolphins are gonna win this game, 27-24 on a last minute field goal by Jason Sanders. Any of you have any predictions for the game? Feel free if you want to.
Well, it depends.
The controversial Eddie Chapman.
It depends on that center position. I am not going to say we're going to win. If Eichenberg is the center, I'm going to be worried. We were worried about Williams snapping the ball. Eichenberg, it was every time he snapped the ball in shotgun,
high snaps.
it was high.
The high snaps. Yeah.
I'm really worried about that. I'm not as worried with Phillips, even though it would be good to have him. They have pretty good depth on the linebacker, defensive end, whatever.
Your guy is playing great, so you work.
Yeah, they can flip him out. Long has really shown up the past couple games, but it's the offensive line. I'm just worried. If Williams plays, I'm gonna say Miami 21, Buffalo 17.
It was going game. Any of you guys?
Matt.
So it's Buffalo, and it can't be easy. If it were easy, it would be a Jets game. It's Buffalo. So it's going to be 27-21 Miami.
27-21?
27-21. And the reason it's 27-21 is because Buffalo will have a chance at the end, that 6-point difference. That it won't be easy for us as fans. It never is, right? So my prediction, 27-21 Miami. Allen throws an interception at the end on a Hail Mary, and we all look forward to our next episode talking about how I made another prediction that came true.
That's good.
I'll take that nail biter as long as the next video montage will include part 2 of their offensive coordinator absolutely destroying his Microsoft Surface
Ken
tablet.
Dorsey. Ken Dorsey.
Yes, I want to see Ken Dorsey breaking it,
Dorsey
and then this
destroyed.
time they give him like one of those little kitty tablets or something like that. Be like, you're not allowed to have a Surface tablet anymore. Here's your little kitty tablet. God, I'm superstitious. I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. Michael Scott, The Office. I'm very superstitious with this stuff. I really, really don't like doing it. I have no bearing on what happens in this universe, so I should just suck it up. 34-24, Miami Dolphins. I think that they're going to make a statement this week.
Yeah, when we make a prediction, we're not trying to do it as a fan would do it. We're trying to, put our pundit hat and analyst hats as best as we can and take everything away. There's going to be a game during the season. I'm going to say the Dolphins are going to lose, but it's not.
I'm a homer, Sammy. Matt's not going to. Can't have that happen if he's going 20-0. Come on.
No, Mr. 20-0. There's no way Mr. 20-0 is going to say the Dolphins are going to lose.
Oh, God. My heart can't handle this. All right.
Well, next is the big.